Okay then guys, we've got off the X50 over at Evesham and now we're on the 247 service bound for Redditch. Despite the journey being late, and this is run by Diamond Bus from the Redditch garage, and the bus we have is a right street deck. So we've got a street deck on this line all the way to Redditch. So I hope you enjoy the trip. Let me just quickly try and see if I could get this in. Anyway, we're now on our way to so we're now on our way to Redditch on the 247. So the weather today is a bit miserable. It's a bit miserable today, wet and miserable. But obviously, you have to try and go out whatever the weather. So here we are. Okay, here we go. We're now on our way to Redditch. So we're now on our way to Redditch 247. So here we go. On our way bound for Redditch. So just enjoy the journey. There's a street light on the 540 heading into Evesham. Anyway, here's a E200 MMC on the 552. That's an ex-Moffat and Williamson vehicle. And so, despite the poor quality, what we'll do, we'll actually plays that in time. So what we'll do, we'll make a bit of a stream version as well. So Moffat and Williamson. So we're now heading away from alongside the A44, which goes in the direction towards Oxford. So we're now on our way from Evesham to Redditch. So if you remembered back in the year 2022, this route was going to face a sudden withdrawal because down to low passenger numbers, and obviously trying to keep the service maintained, but obviously it turned out not to be the case, as this is one of the popular Midland Red operated routes. So this is one of the Midland Red routes that still survives, and because obviously now the 247 has been added with a school contract. So we're now heading away from Evesham. Now this route does a bit of a detour around Evesham. So there are other choices of buses to go from Evesham to. So anyway, there's a little there. Badsea and Offenham. 247 to Redditch. Anyway, so the time is 13:12. Obviously we've departed very late, but obviously you don't know what might happen. We might pick the time up, I don't know. So there we go. We're now heading out of so we're now going down Davis Road. So we're now going down Davis Road. So anyway, there we are. So anyway, you've got a co-op food here. Little co-op food general store and a couple of shops. So as you know, I've done this route before back in 2019 when I had an Optare SD vehicle on the route. I've had an SD on it, but now I'm actually riding it on a decker. Yes, I'm on a decker. So this is a bit interesting to see the street deck. I thought this could have been we could have had a Gemini, or we could have had the Emirates street deck ultraliner. But at least we've got a good bus. Hopefully one day we might do the 149 from Worcester to Redditch, or we might do the other routes. But I don't know for sure yet. So we're now coming to Molly's sister shop at Morrison's. So we're now coming to Morrison's, and there's a TK Maxx and an Aldi. So Morrison's, it is one of the most profile supermarkets. Yeah, Morrison's has got some good stores across the region. So here's Morrison's. So very unique facade. I think this was a former Safeway unit, because you can tell with the facade. So I know Morrison's have quite a few Safeway stores. And there's a B&Q. So here we are, just now arriving at Evesham Morrison's. Here we are, Morrison's. a bit of a turn around here. This is a little bit tight. So I've got to do a bit of a quick. This is a bit tight around here. So there's the loading bay for the Morrisons. And of course nearby the Morrisons is the retail park. So you've got Curry's delivery loading bay, and of course you've got the carpet right there. And there's Curry's next door, and then of course you got B&Q, Block and Quail, as it was formerly pronounced as. Well, still stands as B&Q stands for Block and Quail. Majestics, and there's a Mackey's. Oh God, there's Mackey's. There's B&Q. Sorry if the quality's not very good. Obviously, because the weather being not very nice. And of course, nearby is the Range, which used to be a home base. There's a Greggs and a Costa and a Halfords. So the Range is just right there. So here's the Range. So the Range has got like a garden centre outside. So we're now heading away from Evesham now, and we'll be on our way round for Redditch. Sign here for the Evesham Country Park, and of course there's the roundabout. Left to Evesham, right to Oxford, and straight ahead on towards where we'll be heading for, unless we take the first exit. So there's Robert's travel group. So right, that's oh, there's an NN Creswell Versa on the R4, and so anyway, this is the direction towards the Evesham Country Park, and then there's a sign to Knoll Hill, and so yes, there was a Diamond Bus Redditch Depot used to be known as First, because obviously First Worcestershire used to run the Redditch area back before Diamond, and this route was operated by First, but obviously First has stopped operating. First ended the 247 when Redditch took over the First operations in Redditch. So here comes the next junction. This one's for Chipping, Campton, left to Evesham, straight ahead to Stratford, Birmingham and Worcester, the north, and also Alcester and Offenham and Badsey. Robert's travel group, there must have been somewhere, probably come from Evesham or probably other surrounding areas. So north, Stratford, Birmingham, Worcester, Alcester, but obviously we're not going that way, we're actually taking this exit here. So this is going all the way round. So this is more like a bit of a scenic point of view. Now if you might know 247, for those West Midlands bus historians, you probably remember the 247 was an old Stourbridge number. It used to go along the 7 and the 142 services like connecting up with Maryhill, then up to Dudley, down to Halesowen, and then back into Stourbridge. So it forms a larger loop back then. Obviously the 246, and of course it was combined with the A and the 248 and 248A. But those routes stopped operating with the Maryhill section being replaced by the 276, which is now today's number 7, and then the Halesowen section was replaced by the 242. Well, not the Kimber 242, there was another 242 in Stourbridge, and then that 242 now forms part of today's 142. Okay, here we go. We're now in the countryside. Well, not in the countryside, so we're now in a bit of a villagey area. As we've now left Evesham behind. And so I've joined by Fireboy Vaughan. He's on the back row on the upper deck. So yeah, we've got laughing going on. So Fireboy Vaughan has joined me on this journey. So we're going all the way to Redditch. So we're going all the way to Redditch now. And oh, bit of a twist. So the sign out Western Sub-Edge, Honeybourne, Repthornton. So here we go. Whoa, Bidford-on-Avon. So we're now doing a bit of a next turn here. 40-mile speed limit now. So the places of Evesham are now fading away as we go on to Redditch. So we now head for Redditch now. So we now come to another twist. So this is the next twist. Round this bend here. This is Blackminster. Stop when lights show. That means we're probably coming to maybe, I think, what's coming up here? Is it a level crossing or something? I don't know. Stop when lights. Oh yeah, level crossing. Going to the level crossing now. Blackminster Business Park. So we're now heading away from Blackminster over to Redditch. leather seats on this service. Of course, we've got USB-A chargers. So this is a massive seater vehicle. So now it's a 30-mile speed limit. So 2.5 miles to Bidford-on-Avon. So we're now going through this lovely little village area. Prior. For Redditch. a street light on the Evesham bound 247. Anyway, here's some sprinklers in the field. Bidford-on-Avon straight ahead, Barton. Now, as you know, we'll be turning in the left direction. So there's a weak bridge ahead. Here we are. Okay, here we go. We're going across the bridge now. So we're going across the River Avon. Whoa, this is amazing. There's a one-stop store here. There's the Bull's Head pub here in Bidford. So we're at Bidford now. So well, I think we're in Bidford. I don't know. Got some very nice traditional cottages. Yeah, so Waterloo Road. industrial estate. There's the Shakespeare Hospice store. We're going to some rumble strips. So then guys, as you know, we are now in the countryside. Evesham has disappeared from our surroundings in the Warwickshire area until we get into Redditch. So the time is now 13:43. So Wixford. So as you can tell, this is a bit of a long haul today. So we're now doing the twists and the turns. Anyway, here we are crossing again. Quite high for a double decker. in Sierra roundabout, so this will be where we'll pick up the journey towards Redditch. So you've got a sign here for Alcester Town Centre. So apparently it's now beginning to rain. So the rain has now taken its toll. Calfton Port. Obviously we're going to Alcester first. I'm now having to face out to because obviously unfortunately the windscreen on the front has begun to get wet and a bit difficult to get through. So we've got our waitress and partners here in Alcester. So here we are. And now in Alcester. So then, here we are, we just changed onto a different seat because the rain started to come along. As you know, the rain was forecasted for today, so there was a chance the rain was going to happen, but luckily, as you know, Redditch bus station isn't going to be like wet all over, because obviously Redditch bus station is actually underneath. It's actually partially enclosed, just like with Worcester bus station. So now combined with the X19 from Bidford-on-Avon. So as you know, this bus has got USB ports as well. People to charge their mobile devices. So there's a sign there for Evesham, Stratford, Arrow, Wixford, Bidford and Ragley Hall. 12 miles that way goes towards Droitwich. So next exit Redditch, Birmingham, the north, Cofton and Studley. Time is now 13:56, so we'll soon be arriving into Redditch. Willoughby Close, haha, Holly Willoughby, TV presenter. From my, yeah. See when she used to do this morning, now hosted by Ben Shepherd and Cat Beasley. There's the Co-op store. So we've got a sign here for Aswood Bank, High Street, Leisure Centre, Studley and Sports. So anyway, we're now in Studley, and this was where there used to be a 67 service that was the local route. But obviously the 247 replaced the 67 along this stretch. So you can still see the remnants of the old first bus flags. Still survives today. Redditch, well, almost, and Redditch is under the territory of Diamond buses, previously First, and obviously other operators serve Redditch Town Centre, and this includes the Nest on the 354 that goes to Droitwich only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and of course you've got Flexibus to Solihull, Coventry minibuses to Solihull, and of course you've got Stagecoach as well on the X19 down for Stratford-on-Avon. So we're now arriving at Alexandra Hospital. So this is the Alex Hospital, the Alexandra. One of Redditch's motor hospitals, and this was the time where there used to be a where the X3 used to run onto Worcester Hospital. And yes, you can get a bus from here to the Worcester Hospital, which is the 149 that goes to Worcester. Well, not into the ground. So here we are at the Alexandra. Okay, we are now on our way into Redditch Town Centre. Okay. So it's been a fantastic journey on the 247. So here we go. Welcome to Redditch bus station, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the journey, and see you again soon.